All right, everybody. Looks like we got a really good matchup today. We got Ender, Protoss up here in red against Gfinny, his customary pink color. Must feel very comfortable with his masculinity. Likes pink. Likes to try to embarrass his foes by beating them with a pink Terran. But regardless, he's very strong as well. See, he sends out a really quick scouting SCV here. Ender's playing a little safe, not safer, but just not opting to send out a scouting as probe yet. But here we do see it going out immediately after throwing down the first pylon. A little background on these players. Ender is a currently ranked gold in 1v1, but I know in the past he's been platinum and known for really strong macro. Likes to get a lot of Colossus out, and as we saw in the game against Dan, he likes to put a lot of photon cannons outside of his expansions to try to protect them really well. So we'll see if he repeats that again in these games. See Gfinny going for supply depot wall off here. Got the first piece up, but I'm not sure if he's going to get the complete wall off in time before Gfinny is able to scout. But he has to scout one more base first, so it looks like that wall probably will be off, and Ender won't get too much scouting. We see Gfinny finding Ender's base. See if he hides the SCV. He likes to just hide the SCV in there. Last time when we saw him playing against, who was it? Hrothgar. Hrothgar found him immediately and cleaned up that SCV, but maybe Ender will be in for surprise. Doesn't see that SCV immediately. You see the probe actually does get in for Ender, so he is going to get some scouting. See that one gas is going down. Ender also has one gas going. He has his gateway finished, but no cybernetics core, so a little bit slow on that. I'm not sure what he's planning, but he's actually planning on getting a second gateway first, as well as a pylon and a second gas without any cybernetics core. So that's a really interesting play. Might be a little bit of zealot pressure here. Gfinny, you see killing off that scouting probe, but losing a little bit of mining time because he pulled so many SCVs off. And the Marine comes up to try to clean up that probe, but probe's already gone. Sorry about that. See Gfinny putting out a tech lab immediately. Usually pretty strong against Protoss if you can get out concussive shells very, very soon. You can slow down those Protoss units quite a bit. We see a second barracks going down for Gfinny. So I'll be interested to see what Ender's going to do with two gateways here. Still no cybernetics core at all. So pretty interesting play here. Seeing that he was thinking about going for a forge really quick, but opts not to. Maybe he'll try to put it on the low ground here after this pylon finishes, but playing a little bit risky, that's for sure. You see Gfinny's SCV is still hiding in the base, so at some point he's going to have to move that in and see what Ender's up to. But he should be surprised to see if there's still no cybernetics core. And we do see that concussive shells are being researched at the tech lab of Gfinny. Just as I predicted, the concussive shells are really good against anything that Protoss sends at you early. You can slow down any retreat and pick off any extra units that are lagging behind. So it's a really standard but strong play from Gfinny. Still only on one gas. You see Ender is both gas complete with 3 probes mining each. And you see Zealot does find Gfinny's SCV, but instead of Gfinny opting to go into the base, he just has that on auto move, and oh, he does get good scouting in actually. So there's a cybernetics, there's a forge. Gfinny only has one zealot out right now, I believe. Yeah, just one zealot. First 2 marauders, 1 marine. If Gfinny sent a little bit of pressure right now, he could do so much damage to Ender. We see Ender going for a quick expansion here. So we do see Ender's macro play on display right now, going for a quick expansion. If Gfinny is able to scout that, he could send pressure immediately, but instead he's opting for a bunker. So that's kind of the wrong play here. Not doing quite enough scouting in this case and playing defensively instead when he really needs to make an offensive play with 5 marauders with concussive shells. That could do so much damage right now. You see that the warp gate research is just finishing right now. Maybe about 75% done. And quite a few probes here. I'm looking at the counts. 31 probes versus 24 SCVs. So Ender is really keeping up with this probe, probably doing a few chrono boosts on those probes. Sending out a scouting zealot here just to see what Gfinny's up to. Maybe he might be able to get a quick peek of all these marauders and be able to act accordingly, probably putting up a robo bay. And we do see robotics for this facility going up right now. Pretty standard against Terran. Because Gfinny didn't put any pressure on, Ender was able to expand, put up this wall without any pressure at all, so and is now well ahead because of it. Four Marines in this bunker. We do see that Gfinny is starting to expand with a command center here, but it's going to be quite far behind. Ender already has quite a few probes mining from this nexus, so he's well ahead. Ender not quite sure whether to believe that Gfinny is only on one base right now, so he's doing scouting of the rest of the map, at least the parts that you can access. These two bases here are blocked off by destructible rocks, so there's a chance that you could float a base up there and hide it, but you don't see that very often. And Gfinny, customary sensor tower, it's a very smart play, able to see any sort of maybe void ray or even a warp prism coming in, so the threat of drops is quite low because Ender can see that his sensor tower will see any sort of drop play at all. Ender putting out a few pylons for scouting to make sure that there's no drops coming his way. And we see that he does have double robo all the way across the sky. Not sure if he's going to throw down a robotic support bay yet, but right now just producing two observers, so playing really safe. Doesn't want to see, wants to see anything that's coming at him so he can warp in units immediately. You see Gfinny is controlling the Zelnaga though. So between the Zelnaga and the sensor tower, he should have scouting of pretty much half the map here. And we see Ender heading a probe up in this far base, so he's going to go for a third expansion. We look at the supplies and they're actually like quite even. The problem is that we do see a battle here. One scouting marine is not going to get any information, so Gfinny does have to use a scan here. Let's see what he's seen. He actually doesn't see that there's a nexus here, but he can assume based on this wall and that there is a nexus back here. And we do see this third nexus going down for Ender, so his economy is going to be so strong. So we do see a scouting observer coming in, so Ender knows what exactly Gfinny is up to. He does have a missile turret in the supply line, so he has to be careful not to fly the observer into there, which I do all the time. As well as an observer at the front of the base, so he's going to see basically anything that's coming towards him. So both players playing very defensive, but Ender's really taking advantage of the economy here. See mules coming down for Gfinny, but he's going to need a little bit more than that to catch up here. And we do see Ender starting to pull ahead with economy and supply. Gfinny's army is definitely stronger, just because based on Ender's probe count, 51 probes at 42 SCVs, so Gfinny actually doing quite a good job keeping up with the SCV count. The problem is he's going to be down a base right now, so even more probes are going to be in production for Ender at 3 bases, and the economy is just going to be so sick for him. We do see Gfinny opening up these rocks, probably going to try to expand up here. Pretty safe up here. If you put a supply depot by these rocks, you'll be able to scout if there's any pressure on the other side of those rocks trying to come up, and you should be able to reinforce quick enough. See a few probes transferring over. That's good that Gfinny didn't have any scouting over here, because if you see those probes transferring, they lead you directly to the base. And Ender being very wise, scouting up here, seeing if Gfinny's expanded for a third time yet, but he sees it's not the case. So it's just going to be a matter of who kind of gets a large army first. Might both try to get up to 200 army before attacking, but we'll see. We do see Colossus coming out for Ender now, so that's going to help him so much in these battles, particularly if he has Thermal Lance. He has not upgraded Thermal Lance yet, so the range of these Colossus aren't going to be that great. See, Gfinny is almost mined out of this base now. He's going to have to transfer SCVs soon, and hopefully he's building another command center. It doesn't look like it, though. So he's just thinking about expanding pretty soon. He has enough, I guess he doesn't have enough minerals. Ender has enough for another base, so we'll see what happens. He might try to take this gold base based on that pylon placement here. Or he might just be placing a pylon there so he can reinforce. Well, he has 3 photon cannons here and a pylon for reinforcement, so it leads me to believe he might be thinking about taking a gold base pretty soon. Both players getting up to pretty high supply, 150 versus 140. And here, perfect, we do see Gfinny floating up his orbital to a third base, so keeping up well with the macro of Ender. And we have 1 siege take up here for defense. Any sort of pressure from Ender up there will be slowed down just a slight bit, but any good sized force will take down 1 siege tank so easily. And here we do see Ender moving out with his sick army, 162 supply army. Not sure if hopefully Gfinny can scout this. I know he did have a probe at one point on that, but Ender might have taken it out too quickly for Gfinny to see this attack coming. And he has about, he has 9 sentries, so should be able to force field and just pick apart Gfinny's army if he force fields correctly. You see Gfinny moving out just 1 siege tank, so many marauders. If he gets a nice stem off without getting force fielded, those marauders are going to do so much damage to that army. But problem is Ender has controlled this Zelnaga watchtower, so he's going to be able to see anything that's coming at him. And we see Ender at 194 supply, 198 supply, and here he goes. See how he controls these force fields. Good Guardian Shield. See a stem from Marauders, but those Colossus are just totally tearing up Gfinny's army here. And he has to retreat. Only three Vikings out. All 3 of Ender's Colossus still alive. And it just looks like a massacre here. I hate to say it. But Ender was able to get 200 supply army up just a little bit quicker before Gfinny was ready. He was able to catch Gfinny in his choke point here, so those Colossus can do so much damage. If you catch the Protoss army out just a little bit farther here with all those Marauders, you can get a nice arc, do so much damage. The problem with getting caught here, though, is that those Colossus, your forces are bunched up. Not all of them are doing damage, and the Colossus can just keep them all at bay, doing so much damage against just a small line. And that's what costs Gfinny the game here. Besides the fact that he's a little bit behind economically, but really it was just that one battle that decided the game here, and it was because he got caught a little bit off guard. Ender didn't use any force fields at all. Just decided to use these. What are they called? Use the sentries for Guardian Shield instead of force fields. So, which is a good play. Any infantry unit's going to have a little bit less damage because of that Guardian Shield. It's like free armor. So, good game.